So let's work out number 5. Number 5 is in root form again. The way you can tell that it's in root form is because it has 2 sets of parentheses and there's no square as an exponent. Really, it doesn't have to have 2 sets of parentheses. The main thing is that it doesn't have an exponent of 2. Okay, it's telling you it's in root form. Most of the time, you'll see it with 2 sets of parentheses. Okay. All right, so we're gonna put down what our roots are. So if you remember, our roots are the opposite of our factors here. So my roots would be positive 2 and negative 4. Okay, you just take the opposite of what's in parentheses. Go ahead and plot those roots, your x-intercepts, positive 2 and negative 4. Okay. And your vertex is going to be in between those 2 roots. It's going to go right through the middle. So find where your middle's at. Okay, my middle is going to be when x is negative 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my vertex. I know my vertex is going to have an x value of negative 1 because that's right in the middle of those 2 roots. All right, so that's going to be the middle of my table. And I'm going to try to find some points around that. So negative 2, negative 3, 0, and 1. All right, so go to your table, go to your graph, or your calculator. Y equals, we're going to change it to our new equation, negative 1, x minus 2, and x plus 4. Okay, once you have your equation in y equals, go to your table. So second graph, and we're going to find some points around negative 1 when x is negative 1, because that's where our vertex is. So negative 3, 5, negative 2, 8, negative 1, 9 is our vertex. 0, 8, and 1, 5. Okay, now we're going to plot those points. Negative 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 2, 8. Negative 1, 9 is my vertex. And then that parabola is going to start coming back down. So it looks like this. Okay, last form is standard form. So if you go to the next page, we're going to learn standard form. A lot of your equations will probably be in standard form. And it looks like this. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And that's on the top of that page in the notes. So a is always going to be with x squared, b will always be with x, and c will always be by itself. So if you ever have a problem where you don't have an x in the middle, like let's say it's 3x squared minus 4. Okay, my a is still 3. My b would be 0, and we've talked about this before. And then c would be negative 4. But b would be 0 because there's nothing in the middle. So it's like saying plus 0x. So just remember that as you go through and graph these. All right, the cool thing about standard form is that it gives you your y-intercept in the equation. That very last number, your c, is your y-intercept. Okay, so let's look at number 3. Number 3, we have y equals negative x squared minus 2x plus 8. So on number 3, my y-intercept is 8. Now we don't want to just put 8, we want to put the actual point. So my y-intercept would be 0, 8. Okay, now on the vertex, it tells you up there on your notes how to find the vertex. What you're going to do is your x value will always be negative b over 2a. Okay, and that's something you're going to have to memorize. And I feel like we touched on it just a tiny bit at the beginning of the year when we were going through all those parent functions and stuff like that. But now it's really going to come in handy. X equals negative b over 2a. Okay, so we're going to take the opposite of our b. So the opposite of our b here would be positive 2. So positive 2 over 2 times a. And a for this problem is negative 1. You have a sneaky negative 1 here in front of x squared. Okay. So this would be 2 over 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. Okay, so I know my x value of my vertex will be at negative 1. And then I'm going to let the calculator tell me what my y is going to be. So let's go ahead and start out our table here. We're going to have our vertex in the middle of our table, negative 1. And we're going to find some points around it. So negative 2, negative 3, 0, and 1. If you want to go ahead and plot your y-intercept, you can, because we know what that is, 0, 8. We know our axis of symmetry is going to go through that vertex. So you can go ahead and draw your axis of symmetry at negative 1. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to let the calculator do the rest. So let's go to y equals. We're going to put in our equation negative x squared minus 2x plus 8. Okay, go to your table, second graph, and we want to find some points around negative 1. Okay. And I just noticed your table has like 6 spots. So just have your vertex somewhere in the middle. I think I went to positive 2 on my table. Okay, so negative 3, 5. Negative 2, 8 was one of the points. Negative 1, 9, which is my vertex. So I can go ahead and fill that in. Negative 1, 9. 0, 8. 1, 5. And 2, 0. All right, so now that you have your table, you can go ahead and plot your points. Let's see, negative 3, 5. Negative 2, 8. Negative 1, 9 is my vertex, and then that parabola starts coming back down. So it looks something like this. My parabola is a little bit off, but something like that. All right, last example for standard form. Let's see, we're gonna start out with y equals 2x squared plus 8x plus 6. All right, so we know our y-intercept, it tells us, it's that very last number. So it's gonna be 0, 6. And to find our vertex, we're gonna use the formula x equals negative b over 2a. So the opposite of our b here would be negative 8 over 2 times a, which our a for this problem would be a positive 2. Okay, so negative 8 divided by 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. Okay, so negative 2 will be the x value of my vertex. Okay, and I'm going to fill in my table. Like we've done before, we want that negative 2 to be somewhere in the middle. So I did negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, and that's it. You can plot your y-intercept, since you know what that is. We know our axis of symmetry will be at negative 2, where my vertex is. So you can draw that. And then the calculator will do the rest. Okay, so go to y equals, put in your equation. We have 2x squared plus 8x plus 6. Okay, we're gonna go to our table and find some points around the vertex. Okay, so we have negative 4, 6, negative 3, 0, negative 2, negative 2, which is our vertex. Negative 1, 0, 0, 6, and 1, 16. Okay, and now I'm going to plot my points. Negative 4, 6, negative 3, 0, negative 2, negative 2, and that parabola starts coming back up. You can't plot the point 1, 16. It's going to be way off your graph, so don't worry about it. Okay, so that's my parabola. That's what you're going to do on your worksheet today. Let's see. You have 6 problems, and it's going to be all 3 forms. So keep your notes out beside your worksheet so you can look back and forth, and it'll help you out. All right, and you'll have a good day.